O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on the new 2024 Acura ZDX, $299 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors and Custom Drywall can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray or Mike, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors and Custom Drywall, 305-345-3649. Or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. Just because it's Christmas Eve doesn't mean we don't work for a living here. Welcome aboard. It's Tuesday. It's Christmas Eve. It's Noche Buena. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah coming up. All of that. So appreciate all and everyone that is celebrating the holidays, however it is you celebrate the holidays. So looking forward to my lechon today. Have a little food today, huh? A little... This is where you kind of like save your hunger, you know. So you're married to a Latin woman, right, Sean? So you do the you do the 2-night thing. Is that what you do? You do the thing tonight, right?
No, we got Noche Buena tonight, and then we do my family tomorrow for Christmas.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought you meant us celebrate. Yeah, the pig is in the Cajachina right now.
Yeah, exactly. So you get the best of both worlds, right? Because you have the two get-togethers one day and then the next day. So right, that's cool.
Yes. Yeah. No. I love it. I love the food, especially the pig straight out of the Cajachina.
Can't beat that, bro. Can't beat that. So I'm looking forward to it today. Have a little food, and then obviously we'll exchange our gifts tomorrow. Although sometimes we do it like after midnight, sometimes, but more often than not, we just wait for the morning. So everybody will wake up, and then everybody gets their gifts. And by the way, we will not be your gift tomorrow. Okay, we're doing a show today. It's not going to be a long show. We're going to be a short show here today. But I did want to do something and talk a little sports. We had some stuff go on yesterday. We've got a couple things to talk about. An interesting scenario with the Heat and the Dolphins. So, just stuff that we can definitely talk about here, and obviously take your questions, your comments, all kinds of stuff, and your complaints and all kinds of good stuff. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button here on a Christmas Eve, and appreciate you all tuning in in this morning, because I know it's not an easy thing to be getting up this morning and tuning in when you might be able to just sleep in. So we appreciate it, or whenever you are tuning in throughout the day or even into the evening. Thank you all out there for always supporting us, as you always do. We got a little Santa rally going on right now, by the way, for us Bitcoiners, because it is at 97,384. It was at 94,000 at 7:55 this morning. And then all of a sudden, it just started to run. And I guess this is a late Santa rally, because I think people were kind of expecting a little bit more of a rally earlier. But we had that dip or whatever, and now we've got a bounce. So interesting. We'll see what happens there with that. Dolphins, by the way, are now a 6.5-point favorite. They were 5.5 yesterday, so it went up a point, 6 to 6.5. Miami is minus 310 now on the money line instead of 250 for the 4:05 game against the Browns. A game that, again, if they're going to keep anything alive, they've got to continue to win. And in the end, I think the winning is the playoffs are like the bonus. Okay? It's not really realistic, but it's the bonus. The reality is you have to end strong so you can send the message. The owner's on board. You saw it. Like we talked about it yesterday. He's throwing the game ball to Mike McDaniel. That's all you need to know. You know what I'm saying? You're not firing somebody if you're throwing him a game ball with a couple weeks left in a disappointing and underachieving season. Think about that. This is a disappointing and underachieving season, and you're really happy with the head coach. So, and that's where obviously Stephen Roston has to deal with people questioning his true desire to win, because there are people like myself that have a hard time believing that Mike McDaniel is the reason why you're going to win and do the things you haven't done in 40 years. It takes a pretty special coach, and I would love for McDaniel to be that guy, because they're not going to make a change, right? So I would rather be really, really wrong. You know what I'm saying? I want to be really, really wrong about Mike McDaniel. And I hope that next year he comes back and takes the freaking Dolphins to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? But we are talking about a problem that has existed for 40 years. Shula couldn't figure it out. He couldn't make deep runs anymore on the back end of his tenure. He would appear at the playoffs, but that's about it. Maybe get through the first round if you're lucky. That's about it. You weren't doing much down the stretch in his run. And that's exactly who you've been ever since. You don't make the playoffs. You barely make it. Once in a blue moon, you'll get lucky and win a game. That hasn't happened in a long time, but I'm just saying the last 40 years, once in a blue moon, you'll get lucky and win a game and then get eliminated in the next round. You know, so we're asking Mike McDaniel to do what a slew of coaches, including Don Shula, could no longer do down the stretch. So it's 40 years of that. And it's hard for me, since I've watched so many fail, to think that Mike McDaniel's the guy when, at least from what I've seen for 3 years, he's not. But this is the questions that now the owner has to deal with, because a lot of us are unhappy with a lot of things going on. And it doesn't matter if you win these 2 games, because it's a 9-8 season. It's a 8, 9, 10 win season. You barely get in. You barely don't. Nothing's changed here. What happens this year is the same shit that's been happening for 40 years. A middling team. You're better than the scrubs, but you're not good enough to join the elite. Always in the middle, you know? And this is why they have to deal with all of this, you know? And I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope I'm wrong, because nothing makes me happier, okay, than watching the Dolphins win. As you can tell, I get pretty freaking pissed with the Dolphins not winning again and not coming through again and not being a playoff team again and choking in big moments like they have for 40 years again. I'm kind of tired of it too, you know? So let's see what happens. But the decisions have been made, and now they've got to deal with the criticism. And the only way that Stephen Ross will ever be looked at as a winning owner is if his team wins. And the only way Chris Greer is going to get, you know, a lot of you off his ass is if they start winning and winning big games and big moments, which they're not going to do this year. And it goes the same for Mike McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa, everyone that is measured by those kind of things. And, you know, until the organization gets through that, these are the things that we have to deal with, unfortunately. Anyway, let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Alan Blanco and the great people at 3A Graphics, 786-618-1443. The Panthers, well, it's hard to beat the same team back-to-back. Kachuk got injured, left, came back, clashing with knees with another player. And good thing is the tough son of a bitch came back, but the Panthers did not have it last night, blanked 4-0. Saturday, they'll take on Montreal. The Heat defeated the Nets last night, 110-95. Bam with 23, 7, and 7. Tyler added 17, and Jovic added 18. Thursday, they're at Orlando. Let's see what else. And tomorrow at 1 o'clock, Chiefs taking on the Steelers. Chiefs are favored by 3, over and unders 43.5. At 4:30 tomorrow, Ravens taking on the Texans. Ravens favored by 5.5. The over and under is 46.5. Tonight, by the way, Hawaii Bowl. If you're not busy, if you're not eating lechon like I am with the family, you can watch South Florida and San Jose. And San Jose is favored by 3, over and under 64.5. The Dolphin line has gone up. They were favored by 5.5 yesterday. Today, they are favored by 6.5 for Sunday's game at 4:05. We will start our pregame show at 2:05. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. Give them a ring, 786-618-1443. If your company, corporation, school, business, anything needs custom printing and embroidery, call 3A Graphics. All right. Let's get to a little basketball talk with the one and only Ira Winderman and our Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat, an NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All right. How you doing, Ira? How you feeling?
You know what? It's all a matter of timing. If I would have done Monday, it would have been awful. I did Tuesday morning instead, a little Christmas Eve show. Feel a lot better after the Nets game. I'm still not so sure, Big O, this sting is going to go away that quickly after what happened in Orlando on Saturday. But as you would use, to use your phrasing, here's a beautiful thing. They're right back in Orlando on Thursday. So if you want to make amends and you want to make things right, you'll have the chance when they go back to the Kia Center on Thursday. Still a bitter taste. I have, in 37 years of covering the Heat, never witnessed anything like I saw in that fourth quarter on Saturday night.
Yeah, I know, 37-8. I was watching it. It was just, again, whatever. They are what they are. Before I get into all of that, Drew Smith, man, I mean, this kid, can he get a break? I mean, just a shame. You watch these young men that are trying to just keep a dream alive, and they're kind of like on the fringe of the NBA rosters, and he looks like a good kid overall, and he's working hard, and it's just one injury after another, one bad break after another. How bad is this one?
The MRI is going to come out later, but the thought in the locker room was not good. No bueno. It looked like an Achilles based on the fact that it was a non-contact injury. That would be season ending. There's so much at play here, Big O. He was within days, 4 or 5 days, from getting a standard contract that would have tripled his salary, guaranteed for the season. Now, because of the luxury tax and all the horrible things about the money, he can't get that. But not only that, there's a chance, and you talk about the cruel world of professional sports, the Miami Heat might have to cut him. Release him from his 2-way contract. He'll get that money because of the injury. He'll work behind the scenes in the arena, just like he did last year after that misstep on the court in Cleveland. And, you always use this phrase, Big O, it's a business. And this will be another sort of cruel sign of that. There is no workaround when it comes to the luxury tax, when it comes to the salary cap. Yes, they can get a disabled player exception, but that money's going to count. Drew's money would have counted if he would have gotten shifted to a standard deal. So, there's the personal side, and Eric Spoelstra was very open, very deeply concerned after the game. And there's also the personnel side, and that's Andy Ellisberg and Pat Riley and Adam Simon finding out a way to get another point guard on this roster, whether it's Isaiah Stevens from the Skyforce in the G League, whether it's a veteran like Dennis Smith Jr., who's sort of been lobbying for a Heat job ever since he's been available on the free agent market, whether it's Elfrid Payton. So I don't want to put everything ahead of what really matters here, but it's just awful because this kid, anyone who's met him, is a good kid, the good soldier who's done anything and everything to make it in this league. He'll be back at some point, somehow, some way. He'll be back. But damn, you talk about the life going out of a building. You talk about a deflating moment. That's what happened in the first half against the Nets.
Yeah, no, I felt terrible for the kid. It just kind of killed the vibe of the whole thing, and
absolutely,
and it was just and again, just you feel for these kind of young men that are kind of hanging on to their dream, and you just give them a break, bro. Just a life. Give him a break. He's already had a couple of these injuries in the past. He doesn't need another one of these.
Two major knee injuries, 2 major rehabs, and you know what? I don't want to say we talk about the jerks. I don't want to go that far, but there's the arrogance of players in this league, whether it's taking time off, whether it's asking for more money, whether it's acting out, whether it's trolling. And then you get someone whose spirit is so toward what we remember about the game before there was social media, before there was look at me and endorsements and all that, who just played the game to play the game. That's what Drew Smith is. He really is old school. He really is an old soul, and he really is a throwback. And it really, I didn't, cut back on my words when I posted my blog last night. This sucks. It absolutely sucks.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to get to that first because he deserves it, and it's a sad story that these are the moments in sport that really are just brutal to watch because some people deserve good things to happen to them, and Drew seems like that's the guy. By the way, same story's happening at Inter Miami. His name is Ian Frey. Same story, two ACLs.
So I
And-
was watching the game. Yep.
Saw the third one this year, and he was devastated. And when I saw Drew last night, all I thought about was Ian Frey. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, bro, these kids, man. And they're both-
this is the other leg for Drew, so it's not the same knee that's twice been surgical. But you know what? When you see a player's wife meet him in the tunnel leading into the locker room, that's when you know immediately they both knew that something was very, very wrong. And my gosh, on the eve of Christmas Eve, ahead of the holiday season, at a time when he's never played better at all in his career, when he received his second NBA start, first of the season on Saturday, and then this. I mean, damn, sports can be cruel, not just because of the wins and losses and the results and the final score. Yeah.
By the way, the Heat need him.
Yes,
the Heat need him.
Yes, very much so. Because you know what, Big O? Now to get back to sports. Because you know what, Big O? Here's the reason they need him. They have the supposed answer to the position at backup point guard, but Terry Rozier hasn't been it. He hasn't been the thing. Matter of fact, look at last night. Terry sits out with the knee issue. The Heat play a very strong game. They get a solid game from the rest of their rotation, so that becomes an issue. I mean, on one hand, we can sit here and talk about, okay, without Drew Smith, where are they going to go? What are they going to get? They have Terry Rozier. He should be the guy. Okay, Tyler goes out, Terry comes in, you continue that way. He's not the defender. He's not the playmaker. He doesn't have that gritty and griminess you need on a second unit. So on one hand, the Heat have their answer. They just got to get more, and they have it from Terry. He did score 23 in Orlando on Saturday. He got his offense going. But completeness and what the Heat need, Drew Smith is more of a heater than Terry Rozier is. Maybe that turns around. I think they've got to go to the market. They've got to find something else. They've got to rejigger this roster. And here's the deal. Excuse me?
Well, see, now that you mentioned that, that kind of leads to I was going to ask you about what happened on Saturday.
Sure.
And I'm going to go back to what I've been harping on. Jesus Christ, folks, you need to completely reset this damn franchise. You need to take 8 steps back, whether you like it or not. We know you're not the Marlins, but guess what? You're going to have to do some of that kind of stuff where you need to really, and I know it's against their DNA, but if they're ever going to go forward, if they keep trying to just plug the hole in the dike, it's just not enough. They don't have what it takes. And Saturday night was another example of the super role player and the other guy that you want them to be those guys. And they're just not those guys, and they never will be those guys. So it's just kind of frustrating to me. If you're the Heat organization and you look at what's going on, you have to understand you have not done good enough in the front office. You cannot ask that man on the court to squeeze blood out of water or something. I don't know, a wine out of water or whatever. I don't care, whatever it is. It just, there's a realization to where you're headed, dude. And look at your star, he's out again. His tummy hurts. I mean, it just, this guy's out for himself. He's not really for the team. Man.
I will say this, though. It's not a Marlins comparison for this reason. I don't believe you have to take it down to the studs, which the Marlins do for finances.
But, some elements of that is what I'm saying.
And I think you have to make a choice. And obviously the choice is a Jimmy choice or a Tyler and Bam choice, because if you get rid of Jimmy, you're going to get more support for Tyler and Bam with cap space, with draft choices, with a chance to rebuild it back up. So first, what you have to do is you have to have column A. Bam and Tyler, are they good enough? You've spoken about that. Column B, Jimmy Butler, is he worth it? You've spoken at length about that, including the first contract.
I don't have a problem with Bam as long as you go and get the stars next to him.
A trade of Jimmy can open up those options. So I think what you first have to do is you have to say to yourself, column A, Bam and Tyler, column B, Jimmy, which are we moving off of? Then you can work with the remaining components and build around. If you trade Jimmy Butler and you can get not even a plug-in piece now, draft choices, salary cap space, future capital, you can make it work. Remember, you're talking about guys who are 27 and 25. You can still get them something for productive periods of their career. There's other people who want to win now, get rid of the role players, bring in someone to support Jimmy. Not in favor of that all. I think these last couple of games have shown you the reliability. Let's look at one thing here, Big O. Jimmy Butler has missed 7 games this season. 4 with an ankle, 1 with the knee, 2 with the stomach ailment. Plus, twice this season, he has gone out in the first 7 minutes, the 7-minute mark in Denver when he had the ankle, and then we saw Friday against the Thunder with the stomach. So all of a sudden, we're up to 9 basic games. There's been no Jimmy out of 27. I'm not great at math. You're not great at math, but that's a third of the season. That's 1/3 of all the games. So for all that we're talking about needing Jimmy more and seeing more, and he can't miss 20% of the schedule, he's basically missed 33% of the schedule right now with no clear sign of that changing or him wanting to change that. That's when I say to myself, you've got to do something. You've got to move on. But here's the deal. You speak about it in our Accurate Pembroke Pines report every week. Other teams see that also. And they say, well, yeah, we could use Jimmy in Denver, in Phoenix, on our team. But we need him all the time. We can't have him miss a third of the games also. So you pointed this out when he first signed the extension. You pointed this out when I was in Summer League this summer. The longer you wait on Jimmy, the more questions you could run into. When you and I started our Accurate Pembroke Pines reports at the start of the season, there were 2 thoughts. Let Jimmy be great, let him become a great trade asset, and then make the move when you can. And there was a point when it was trending that way. And we remember even last Monday, the big triple-double he had, 35 points, 19 rebounds, 10 assists, and then it turns the other way. So we always talk about sell high and buy low. The Heat might have missed their sell-high window on Jimmy Butler, whether it was this summer, whether it was the start of the season, whether it was when he was actually playing at the start of the season. I do wonder about the true valuation now. Now, his agent Bernie Lee will tell you he's still a maximum guy, and he wants $150 million over the next 3 years on an extension. But he's got to do something in these next 4 to 6 weeks before the February 6th trading deadline. So as much as Orlando Alzagari of the Orlando Alzagari Show might be fed up with Jimmy Butler, you know, Big O, you need some greatness from Jimmy in these next 6 weeks.
And that's what I was going to ask you. Does he want to get out? Does he want that $150 million deal? Because he's got to figure it out that you're not getting it here. So do you want to go through another year of, okay, you'll get your $50 million next year, but you're just going to do the same shit you've been doing the last couple of years here, and you got to go through it all? Or do you want that 3-year extension? Somebody, well, then at one point or another, dude, you're going to have to turn it on. You're going to have to show people for an extended period of time, okay, if you trade for me, this is what I'm going to give you. But he hasn't done that at all, or it's what I say. He can't do that, because if he tries to play hard for a certain stretch of time, his body will not be able to try to cash that check that he's trying to write. In other words, to use the Top Gun line. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the problem. One thing that's not going to change, whether it's the stomach or the knee or something else, he's 35 years old. So look at the prove it period that you're talking now, okay? This weekend, the Heat go out and have a weekend back-to-back set in Atlanta on Saturday, Houston on Sunday. They come back after New Year's. They have January 1 and 2 home games back-to-back. They then go on a West Coast trip where they have another back-to-back set at the start, Sacramento, Golden State. So you want him to make a statement in those games, but we're still not sure at 36 if he has back-to-back games in him. And if he doesn't, the Heat have a relatively low 15 back-to-back games. But it's still 15 games. You can't say 10 more times this season, Jimmy is not going to play 1 of 2 games. That would be 10 more missed games. That would be 19 missed games. That would make him disqualified from winning postseason awards and that 65-game threshold, because if you do trade him in the offseason, and it is a sign and trade, you really would like to trade a player who is at least third-team All-NBA. who got votes for awards, which he would be ineligible before. So we really are at what you've discussed as being at this inflection point right now. Either Jimmy Butler does stuff that you and I are talking in our accurate Pembroke Pines report for the entirety of January, and then he becomes player of the month for January, or else the value, I do not believe, on the market will be there.
Wow. All right. Just to go over on Saturday, what is it about these guys? Well, I mean, this was a moment where Orlando lost its top 3 scorers.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, now we find out that Wagner is done for the year. That's
He's going to be done for the year with the injury that Banchero still is out with, so they have that going on. But they did, even shorthanded with a similar roster, go out and beat Boston last night, which shows you they are a tough-ass, hard-nosed, defensive-minded team under one of the most underrated coaches in the NBA in Jamal Mosley, and they persevere like the Heat used to be. Big O, here's what you need. You need SOBs. You need what you talk about. Your PJ Browns, your Grant Longs, your Lonzo Mornings, your guys like that. God
James
bless them.
Posey, give me a James Posey. Give me a bad son of a bitch, dude. Come on.
Even Anthony Mason in his time. You need tough-minded SOBs. Bam's a very nice guy. Tyler's a very nice kid. But that's where you miss Jimmy Butler. Because Jimmy Butler, as 22 was becoming 18, was becoming 14, was becoming 8, would have said, F this. I'm sticking my head down. I'm getting to the foul line to stop momentum, to get easy points at the basket so we can reset our defense. You still need, even though you want to and are willing and think they should trade the MFer in Jimmy Butler, you need to find another MFer. We thought that might have been Jaime Jaquez. He's lost in the sophomore slump at the moment. He is not that guy. Right now, with the veterans they brought in, they don't have that guy. That's what they need to get back to, because in Orlando, when you sort of said to yourself, okay, which one of you MFers is going to take control? No one took control. And they kept shooting jumpers, and they kept fouling, and they didn't stand their ground at the moments of truth. You need that guy. Matter of fact, I'm going to throw it back at you right now. I'm going to take Jimmy Butler out of the equation. I know you hate getting put on the spot with quick questions, but besides Jimmy Butler, who is the toughest guy on this current Miami Heat roster in your view? Besides Jimmy Butler.
Haywood Highsmith.
And if a guy who averages about 6 points and sometimes doesn't play at all is your toughest, most hard-nosed player besides Jimmy Butler, maybe that says all that needs to be said about the composition of the roster.
But you're going to disagree with me on that? Haywood Highsmith has got a little toughness to him. I like him.
He does, and he has the grit. I think Hillel Ware could get there, but he's way too raw, and he's way too young. I really thought Jaime was going to be that guy. I thought he would be the guy who would give it to you in the fourth quarter and get to the line like he did last year, but he's going through a very, very rough patch right now, and he can't be that guy right now. That's what they miss, is they miss that MFer.
I'm glad you told me about all this MF stuff, because I made an interesting comparison to the Miami Heat. And, it's interesting that I said earlier, hey, they got to have some elements of the Marlins. Reset, really. And the rest of us should be super patient with them because they've given us more than enough winning for a quarter century. And we got to stop acting like spoiled brats here, okay? We should have a little patience with the Heat, in this whole mess that they're in. But I think the Heat need to be careful. I think the Miami Heat are becoming the Miami Dolphins. Let me walk you through this. Let me walk you through the comparisons. When Briley got here, up until the big three, it was stars, it was toughness, it was grit, all of that. Riley to Spo and all those eras. And it reminds me a lot of when I was a kid watching the Dolphins from the 70s right up until the early 80s. And then we go off and we make the playoffs into the bubble. And then we go and we make the playoffs in a strike-shortened season. And in those 2 years, we actually maybe think we're better than what we really are because things fell into place for us. The Heat are the organization built to sustain themselves in a bubble because that's who they are. The Dolphins with Don Shula can sustain themselves in a strike-shortened season because of the turmoil and everything. Shula's the guy to right that ship. Then a couple years later, you get a kid named Marino, and the world falls in your lap, and you get lucky, and you get to the Super Bowl, and you find out you don't belong anywhere near the field next to San Francisco, because during that streak of the early to mid 80s to 95, the NFC won 14 of 15, as you know. They dominated. The AFC was mediocre in those days, and that Miami proved it. Miami gets to the finals with Denver. They get smoked because they don't belong there. But they had every break in the book, just like the Dolphins. An easy conference? Well, yeah. You got Embiid injured. You got Giannis injured. Everything fell into place. A couple years later, we're with Marino. We think we're better than what we really are. Heat fans, 5 years into this run with Jimmy and everything that went on, it was fantastic. But we think we're better than what we are. The Miami Heat better be careful. They're falling in to a Miami Dolphin rut. So they better get themselves out of this rut, because this rut is what we're in now. Players that aren't good enough. Players that aren't the dogs that used to be the dogs of the 70s. The ones that used to win at the line of scrimmage on offense and defense for the Dolphins. For 40 years, the Dolphins don't win at the lines of scrimmage anymore. Now what I'm watching, the Miami Heat are no longer producing the stars they used to get, or either developing them or trading for them or whatever it is, because of the way the system has changed. But the Heat have got to be careful. And Heat fans, I'm noticing we are becoming those early 80 Dolphin fans that are kind of delusional. I'm just saying the similarities are there, and there's a trap. And I hope that the Heat don't fall in it, because the Dolphins have been in that trap for 40 years.
And I think another comparison to our market and our teams is the toughness factor we spoke about. And I'll point to a degree to your Dolphins. Let's look at the tough SOB that Calais Campbell is that they brought in. At his age, pushing through when some others are quitting and giving his all. You need that kind of guy. Let's look at the Stanley Cup champion Panthers, who brought in the toughness of Kachuk instead of the zippity-doo-dah of Huberdeau. God bless him in his assist, but he was a different player, and whose leading man, Barkov, became this tough SOB in front of our very eyes and wouldn't give in to just the pure skill that he arrived with from Finland and became more of a player.
Kachuk brought out more personality.
That's what you need also. So, Big O, I don't disagree about star talent and developing, but there also has to be that SOB-ness in your power rotation from the tough guys. When you get guys like that, other guys follow. They pick up on the scent. They get going also. I think some of that's missing. And how crazy is it?
Off the bench.
Yes.
You're like 9th or 10th guy and is a tough son of a bitch. And
hardest working, meanest.
Yeah.
Toughest.
Yeah.
That's
when you're a great franchise, when the guy all the way in the back end of the roster can be put on the floor to go lock somebody down.
Fully agree. Yeah. We need more of that. I agree.
I mean, it's just it has changed the Miami, and it's, in a way, it's not their fault, and it is their fault. It's not their fault because the system changed. The way things you have to do, it has to change, and you have refused to change. So now you have screwed yourself, and you're not willing to take those steps back. That Riley is just, it's like against his DNA. And dude, I admire the shit out of that. That worked for a while.
Sure.
But it doesn't work now. And unfortunately, you got to rip the scab off and really take a step back so you can get what you need down the line, man. Because, I can tell you all I want about Bam being a super role player, but actually, he's actually super important, because in a championship team, he would be the perfect guy to complement the two stars.
As a number 2 or number 3, probably. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's why. So don't ruin what you have in him, which you're already doing it, because you never got the two. Well, you didn't get the other star next to Jimmy, unfortunately.
Right.
Once you got Jimmy, you were on the sands of the hourglass were on, and it was a short one, and you had to get it within that window, and they failed to get it.
And I'll give you 2 words of why it all fell apart and went to crap. 2 words. You ready?
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry. They
I know.
made their run. They tried to find it. They gave in to Jimmy. They brought in his friend. They spent buku bucks on it, and it didn't work. So not only do you have to try to get the player, obviously you have to get the right player.
Yeah. And the Dolphins are going through that now. They got such a finesse team that they now have ruined that window because now the Tua money is going to kick in. And as you know, you follow sports, that just cripples your team once the quarterback salary.
Once you get to that cap number and you get capped out, you better have your team. That's what the Heat are running into right now with that first apron and almost second apron. That's why they have to tear down to build back up. I agree.
Is there are you getting any vibes that they're like looking in the mirror going, hey guys?
I am. And I think something will happen. And I think there will be a special report on the Acura Pembroke Pines report coming up before the trade deadline about something pretty big with this team. I disagree with the outsiders. I think there will be a shakeup.
Good. I'm glad. They need to do it. It's good for them. And we all should be, media included, but especially the fans, should take a ton of patience with them. They've given us more than enough, but you have to understand where they're at, and they got to take a couple of steps back to take a couple of steps forward. All right, what else you got going on the Sentinel?
Keep an eye out on my Twitter and sunsentinel.com. We will have the Drew Smith update. That MRI will basically tell us, unfortunately, a story we don't want to hear. Also have a story just how Spoelstra said, I'm glad we had this 2-day break. Let's exhale a little. They have a huge stretch coming up. They go out to Orlando on Thursday, games in Atlanta on Saturday, Houston on Sunday. This is when they have to show if there is more there, or if we keep using those two words, play in, we'll have a much better sense, I think, after this weekend.
Pat Riley play-in. No, it's Pat Riley championships, banners. That's what it's supposed to be.
If I'm Pat Riley, I'm boycotting play-in games at Kaseya Center. That's how I make my statement.
Yes, please. That's above Pat Riley and Mickey Harrison. Let's go. We're better than that. All right, follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. Better yet, subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Happy Hanukkah, sir. We will catch up next week.
And happy holidays to everyone, and we'll do our pre-New Year show next week. Thank you, Big O.
You got it. There we go. Our Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report. And get on down there to 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Larry Schlossberg, Pat Nasto, Tony Stampone. Just some amazing people doing some amazing work. And when we talk about an amazing vehicle, we are going to talk about the ZDX. Get electrified. Over 300 miles to the full charge, and you get to take the charger home with you too. It's got some really cool plans also, so you can have the charger. You never have to go to a gas station again. Isn't that a beautiful thing? You don't have to touch that dirty ass handle that everybody else has been touching. Get on down there, check it out for yourself. They got some amazing deals. The lot is loaded with brand new vehicles, certified pre-owned vehicles. The ZDX right now, $449. The lease features 0.9% financing for 72 months. The MDX is in stock. The Tech, you can get $10,000 off MSRP. The RDX, my wife is still driving her RDX, 2025 model. You can get it for $399. The Integra, $339, 3.9% financing for 60 months. And, of course, if you own or lease a vehicle, get it serviced there. Mike Chan and Jordan Ferber, they do an amazing job at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All righty. Good conversation with Ira there. We appreciate it. And, you know, it's interesting how the two teams, the Dolphins and the Heat, and right now they are being completely conned by a player. Is that amazing? The Heat have been conned by Jimmy Butler now for the last few years. Here's a guy that is just absolutely abusing everything that he possibly can. And I get it. They had a great run with him. And he's used that run to then kind of chill here the last couple of years and do whatever the hell he wants and play whenever he wants. And again, this is a Dolphin type of situation. You're not that good, Heat Nation. I've been trying to tell you this now for 2 years, haven't I? I've been trying to reach you and tell you, yeah, the run was fantastic, but it's fraudulent as hell. Fraudulent as hell. And there was no reality to it. It's just a great coach, a hot run, things fell into place. But what you've watched the last couple of years is actually more about the reality of this team. And as I've warned you, I think most of you now are on my side, right? On the Bam thing, that he's not really a superstar. He's not a franchise player. He's a super role player. He's a fantastic super role player. But he's not like franchise material. Okay? The Tyler one, I think most of you already figured that one out a while ago. You know what I'm saying? I think that one's very few delusional fans about Tyler that think he can still be something special or something like that. But the Bam one was really, really tough. And this is our problem. We have inflated people that don't deserve to be inflated because we have been so spoiled with real stars like Tim Hardaway and Alonzo Mourning and Shaquille O'Neal and Dwayne Wade and Bosh and LeBron and, real stars. Ray Allen, like real stars. And we're so desperate, we try to manufacture something that isn't there, okay? Because they weren't stars at other levels either. They were good players, but they weren't stars. The guys that I just talked about, they were carrying their teams. Whether it's Alonzo Mourning in Georgetown or playing against the Olympics, in the Olympics against our starters in practice. I don't know if you guys know that. Alonzo Mourning was like in Olympic practices as a baby in college. That's who Alonzo Mourning was, because he's a bad mother effer. And then we start talking about what he was talking about, Ira, the PJ Browns and the James Posies of the world and all that kind of stuff. A Gary Payton. You don't have any of that on this team. Nasty mother effers that want to play defense, that have dog ass mentalities, the Udonis Haslams and all that kind of stuff. And that has gone from this organization, just like the Dolphins. The Dolphins will have a dog player or two, but that's not how they got to be a championship team, how they were great, how they won 20 straight games against Buffalo and all that. You know how Buffalo dogs the Dolphins now? What is it, 12-2 or something? 13-2? What was that number? I think it was 13-2 or something in the last 15 games for Buffalo. Well, the Dolphins used to do that. But that's when they had toughness on both lines of scrimmage. That's when they had tough sons of bitches on both. Again, I said this a couple of weeks ago. Think about the names. When you say Larry Little and Bob Kuchenberg and Jim Langer, and you start saying these kind of names, it comes with a nastiness. When you start talking about all the players on defense, it comes with a nastiness. When you start from the 80s on, you start talking about both sides of the ball, it's just a couple of individuals. It's not the entire team. That's the difference. That's why I'm telling you, the Heat are falling into a Dolphins early 80s rut right now, right before our eyes. What you have lived, the bubble year and all that kind of shit, this is what I lived in the early 80s. That we were keeping on the winning from the time before, and we thought we were keeping on the same kind of winning. We weren't. We didn't have the same kind of players. That's why the results in the end weren't the same. That's why the result, you might have gotten there. Well, yeah, you were led by a great coach, but you lost. So, Shula spoke, great coaches, but you lost. So those teams weren't dogs. Even the big three could fall behind by 20 points and they'd storm right back and just make all the defensive plays because they had it in them and they knew they were what they were. And you're not going to – Shane Battier is a quality human being from top to bottom, and so is Ray Allen. And you start talking about the people that were coming off the bench, these are people that it meant something to them. Every single possession. So when you start talking about the Zoe teams and then they didn't win a championship, but we know what happened in that era. Nobody won. It was just one guy winning everything, It was really tough. But right now, the Dolphins are being conned by Tyreek Hill and they're being conned by Jimmy Butler. And both teams did something really dumb. The Heat fell for it, and they felt just like a lot of you. So I can have fun with you guys, but I can also say, hey, the Heat were just as intoxicated as you were, and they believed all that shit that went on, and you believed that Jimmy Butler would continue. I didn't see that. All right, once you saw the Denver finals, I saw all I needed to know. This is wrong. This is not the team. Because you could tell you're nowhere near Denver. You kept it going, and now you're in this trouble. And now it's hard to unload him. And Tyreek, the same thing. Yeah, it's intoxicating. It's beautiful. 2 1,700-yard seasons. You should have been watching it. He's been dropping passes. He has a ton of off-the-field issues. And you still guarantee him money. And so, by guaranteeing Jimmy Butler the money and by guaranteeing Tyreek the money, you have also entitled them to continue to be who they are. And now you have to deal with it. You've made your bed, and now you've got to lie in it. It's interesting. Both teams are stuck like Chuck with two personalities, two explosive players, but they've got some character flaws to them. Unfortunately. And by the way, there's a huge character flaw with Jimmy Butler. Just because he brings dog, he's also a dog. Because he's been dogging it. So you get all kinds of dog with Jimmy Butler. The problem is you're not getting the junkyard dog anymore. And that's because he can't do it. Kind of sucks, but this is where they're at, unfortunately. By the way, Welton Rayom. We love talking about Jeff Welton, Daniel Rayom, bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. Call Jeff Welton, Daniel Rayom, 954-966-4646. Check out the website, wrflalaw.com. So if something happened to you recently, you don't know if the statute of limitations are up, please call Jeff Welton, Daniel Rayom, 954-966-4646. Don't forget, you can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. You can make a Christmas donation, a holiday donation to the show, and you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. You can use the QR codes there that Sean is showing you. And you can also make a PayPal donation and send in your questions, comments, insults, maybe even a compliment. What the hell? By the way, Bitcoin, 97,949. So let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Santa Rally. Nothing wrong with that, man. Love it. All right, what do we got here on the super chats? True Fin fan. The Miami Cowboy fans are delusional. Yep. Yes. Yes, we are. Please, no Butler in Phoenix, says Lisa. Well, you got enough overpriced guys over there. Thank you, by the way, True Fin fan. Justice Maldonado, thank you, sir, for the holiday super chat. Merry Christmas, Big O. By far my favorite Miami radio host, live streamer. God bless you and the family. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I might be the only live streamer, right? Most people just record and then post it. Frankie Fresco. That's why I like when people say, "Oh, your podcast." No, actually, we're a live YouTube show, and then we podcast it. Frankie Fresco, thank you for the holiday super chat. Merry Christmas, Owen Sean. Special Christmas AEW prediction. Saturday pay-per-view. Jon Moxley, the champ. Orange Cassidy versus Orange Cassidy versus Jay White versus Adam Page. Who you got? Damn. Well, see, I've won and lost with Moxley, if I'm correct. I think in predictions. Orange Cassidy, I mean, is this Butch Cassidy? Is it the Orange Blossom? That was a great hobby place to go buy some stuff at Orange Blossom there on Coral Way. Jay White. Sounds like a guy that should be a comedian or something, Jay White. You know, I've always been a big Bob Seger fan. And I love a song called Turn the Page. So I figure Adam Page is going to turn the page on this whole thing. And I'm going to go Adam Page in this foursome because we're going to turn the page with Adam. What do you got there, Sean? I got a thumbs up and a thumbs down. That's like a confusing type of shit going on.
No, I don't think Jon Moxley loses the title. I just don't know how it's going to play out. It's very interesting time in AEW. Their stories are actually pretty good, and this is their top story right now. And it's interesting because it can go different ways, which is usually what makes the WWE storyline so good. Is when you go to the pay-per-view, you look at it and like, okay, if they go this way, it's good. If they go this way, it's good. If they go this way, it's good. And AEW has set this up where I personally don't think Moxley loses the title because I think they want to keep pushing the Death Riders. But there is a chance because, again, in a four-way match, the champion doesn't have to be pinned. So
who's the guy? If Moxley doesn't win, who are you picking?
I'm kind of leaning toward Orange Cassidy, honestly. If not, because he's become the leader of the AEW, and that's kind of the guy they're pushing and making their name. So, again, I don't know if it'd be too soon. Maybe they want to build it up a little bit more, but I honestly think by the end of the year, Orange Cassidy becomes a champion.
All right. Orange Cassidy.
And that's 2025, not 2024.
Orange Cassidy. Sounds like something I would order at Palacios de las Frutas. Give me an Orange Cassidy. I don't know. Anyway. Chase 1. Thank you for the love on the super chat, the holiday super chat. There we go. Some holiday super chats coming in. Happy holidays to Big O and Sean and the whole chat. You guys rock. Thank you, Chase 1. Very kind. Appreciate you. Adolfo says, Big O, I agree with you. Jimmy and cheaper by the dozen dude, but it's hard as a fan not feeling this, especially with the runs that the Heat have made in the last few years. I know. That's exactly what we thought in the 80s when the Dolphins made their run in 82 and they were frauds, and when they made their run in 85 and they were frauds. That's all. And the run in the bubble was a fraudulent one because it was all the bubble stuff and it was a shortened season. It's like the Marlins making the playoffs in a shortened season, you know? But did they have a chance to win? Yeah, actually. The luck could have been amazing if Bam and Dragon stay healthy. They got a shot against that Lakers team. That Lakers team wasn't that good either. That's one of the worst championship teams I've ever seen in my life. They got lucky that they were facing a Heat team that's really, just an upstart team, not really good. Just like in 82, we weren't that good. It was just kind of everything fell into place. And then 85, we just took advantage of a bad conference. Our team sucked. It was just an offense, and we had a passing game. We didn't have a running game, didn't have a defense. And San Francisco showed us in the Super Bowl what a real complete team looks like. And by the way, what a better modern-day coach looks like, because at that point, Bill Walsh was a better coach than Don Shula. Period. End of story. But Bill Walsh was better built for that football moving forward than Don Shula was. Those are the facts. Everybody has their time and their era, and it comes and it goes, no matter what it is. We just didn't see it. And so that's why I'm telling you, those of you in Heat Nation, you are sitting where the Dolphins were in the early 80s. The same shit, dude. Early 2020s, early 80s, same shit. Dolphins, Miami Heat. Don't get intoxicated. Stop it. You're lying to yourself. You're not that good. Just like Dolphin fans. The only thing is, back then, I made the mistake because I was a kid. I didn't have experience. I didn't have perspective. Now, I'm an old man. I got perspective. I got time on me. I've seen it all. And this is the same shit that happened to us in the 80s in a different sport. And I've been trying to tell you this for a while now. Okay? So it's sad, but we're getting conned. All right. No problem. I got you. All good in the hood, Sean. All good in the hood. Dear God, please don't let the Heat trade Jimmy Butler to my Suns, says Lisa. That's funny. What else do we have here? Bob Seger is a legend for sure. You damn right. Bob Seger is an American treasure, my brother. Okay? An absolute American treasure. That's what Bob Seger is. He is a slice of Americana. 98,149. We're up 5.4% in Le Bitcoin. So trying to pump to 100,000 here before I have my lechon this afternoon. I don't mind. I can do that. I can do that. That would work out. That would definitely work out. All right, folks, let's see what we got here in birthdays today on the show. All right, let's start off here with some regular birthdays of musicians born on this date. And Sean is gone, so we won't have wrestlers for today, unfortunately. Well, if I run into one on my list, then I'll mention it. But Sean is gone. He is off. Ricky Martin, living La Vida Loca. He was born on this date in 1971, enjoying the cup of life. Let's see who else. Neil Turbin, known as the first full-time vocalist for Anthrax, born on this date in 1963. Darren Wharton, keyboardist, singer, songwriter, worked with Thin Lizzy and fronted his own band called Dare, born on this date in 1962. Tom Wolk played bass for 30 years with Hall & Oates. He also recorded with Carly Simon, Squeeze, Elvis Costello, and Billy Joel. So I guess he's got a little bit of a skill set there. Sadly, we lost him in 2010 due to a heart attack at 58. He was born in this date in 51. Who else? Lemmy, musician, singer, songwriter, Motorhead man. We lost him recently in 2015 following a short battle with an extremely aggressive cancer. Born on this date in 1945. Now, let's see. We move on to other famous people born on this date. Louis Tomlinson, pop singer. I know I've seen this guy. Who is it with? One Direction. That's why the face looked. Not that I even care about One Direction, but I've seen them enough that the face looked kind of, what's it called? Familiar. It wasn't on the musicians list. But then again, maybe he's not a musician, just a boy band singer. Ryan Seacrest is 50. Devontae Adams, 32. Wait a minute. Declan McKenna, alternative singer, producer, best known for the release of his debut single Brazil on Bandcamp and YouTube. Okay, maybe I was wrong. I thought he looked familiar, but I don't know who the hell he is. I guess the name McKenna must have triggered something else. Who else celebrating birthdays today? A rapper named Simba. He's 26. I have no idea if there is even known, but I figured if anything that has, a cartoonish name like Simba, why not? MMA fighter Jason Miller is 44. Diedrich Bader, TV actor, is 58. Ava Gardner was born on this date in 22. We lost her in 1990. Jordan Mills, football player, 34. And that is it. That is it. Sorry about the wrestlers. No wrestlers for you there. No wrestlers for you. So now we go with music history. Let's talk a little bit about what happened today on December 24th in music history. In 1988, Poison started a three-week run at number one with their hit, Every Rose Has Its Thorn. Just like, all right. 1971, the New York Dolls made their live debut performing at a Christmas party at New York's Endicott Hotel. In 73, Tom Johnston of the Doobie Brothers was arrested in Visalia, California, and charged with possession of marijuana. His court date was set for January 10th, the same day the band's new LP was to be released. The album was ironically titled, What Were Once Vices Are Now Habits. That's actually very good. In 88, Nirvana started recording their first album, Bleach, using a $600 loan from a friend. That's a hell of a friend. In 74, James Taylor, Carly Simon, Linda Ronstadt, and Joni Mitchell got into the holiday spirit by going around L.A. singing Christmas carols. Can you imagine? Can you imagine James Taylor, Carly Simon, Linda Ronstadt, and Joni Mitchell going around L.A. and singing Christmas carols? I would just follow them around and just listen, just watch, just marvel. Jesus Christ. Especially Simon and Ronstadt. I mean, I love James Taylor and Joni Mitchell, much respect. But the Simon and Ronstadt voices, oh my God. Jesus, those voices are amazing. In 94, Pearl Jam went to number one on the album chart with their third studio album, Vitalogy. In 2011, the Black Keys started a 14-week run at number one on the Billboard's rock song chart with Lonely Boy. Lonely Boy. There you go. that is what happened today in music history. Don't forget, you can make a donation, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. All right? And you can also make a donation through PayPal, which is always a beautiful thing. Ho Yoon, thank you, sir, as always. Your dedication to the show. Thank you for the donation every week, sometimes multiple donations every week. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the extra Christmas boost. We appreciate that. Thank you. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Bitcoin is at 98,000, working its way back to 50,000. By the way, if you're a Led Zeppelin fan, Becoming Led Zeppelin, the highly anticipated documentary about the band's rise to fame, will go on general release in February. Sony Pictures previously announced the movie's arrival at IMAX cinemas on February 7th, 2 days after select preview showings. Now it's been confirmed the feature will hit standard theaters February 14th. Tickets are on sale now. Director Bernard McMahon used cutting-edge technology to revitalize archive footage with the intention of having them look and sound brand new. Powered by awe-inspiring psychedelic, never-seen-before footage performances and music, Bernard McMahon's experimental cinematic odyssey explores Led Zeppelin's creative, musical, and personal origin story. The film is told in Led Zeppelin's own words and is the first officially sanctioned film on the group. Production had been underway for several years. In 2021, McMahon told The Upcoming the process of making the film was much closer to that of a feature film than a documentary. We told the story from their childhood through to 1970 when they became the biggest band in the world. To tell that powerfully in a full-length feature film itself. Writer Allison McGurdy added, "We did our preparation without telling a soul because we wanted to be sure it would work on screen before we presented it. Then we flew to London and met with Jimmy Page, then John Paul Jones, and Robert Plant and Pat Bottom. We knew the band had turned down countless documentary offers for 50 years. What we believed in the higher purpose of the story that we were planning to tell. I cannot wait to watch this. I will go to an IMAX theater for sure to watch this Led Zeppelin documentary. Okay? Guaranteed. It's the closest thing I'll ever get because, unfortunately, Robert Plant's a freaking asshole nowadays, and he's almost anti-Led Zeppelin now, and he's got this whole thing with the bluegrass and Alison Krauss, and it's nice stuff. It's not bad. The stuff he does with the shapeshifters is not bad either, but all that is not even close to his solo stuff. Solo stuff is way better than everything he does now and with the shapeshifters. But his Led Zeppelin stuff is, godlike. And I hate how he treats that, to be quite honest. I hate it. It bothers the hell out of me. He kind of pisses me off in a way, the way he carries himself about it. He almost acts like he's above playing Led Zeppelin music, which is like, yo, dude, that's what made your ass. By the way, if you're an LA Guns fan like I am, they have announced a slate of 2025 tour dates for their upcoming album Leopard Skin. I have only seen LA Guns once, and I saw them in Indianapolis. It's the only concert I've ever seen in the 20-something years that I've gone to the Combine. Every year that I've gone to the Combine, pretty much, because I haven't gone lately, and I think 3 out of the last 4 years I haven't gone. Every time I would go, my luck, there was never any good concerts here. But one time I went, LA Guns was there, and I saw them at a place, and they were terrific. So, in support of their new record, Leopard Skin, they will be touring heavily next year. They wrote on Instagram. And here's the first leg of the tour dates. The album and tour late May, ending the run in Denver. They're also closing out in 2024 with a handful of California dates. So just in case, you could go look up the dates wherever you live. But for my Florida friends, first of all, oh, by the way, they're going to be at the Whiskey A Go-Go on December 31st. That's pretty cool, actually. March 10th through the 15th, they'll be on the Monsters of Rock cruise, which comes out of Miami. But they will come back here to Florida. They'll be at Fort Myers at the Buddha Live on May 9th. They'll be at Dania Beach. I'll be there for the Casino Stage 954 at Dania Beach. I'll be there May 10th. May 11th, they're in Mount Dora, Florida at the Mount Dora Music Hall. Is that place any good, by the way? And then they're in Largo, Florida at the Central Park Performing Arts Center May 13th. So just in case if you're a Florida person, but they are going to Texas and Colorado and Nebraska, California, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, Georgia. So check it out if you like LA Guns. There you go. The dates are out there, and enjoy yourselves. Okay? There you go. Good morning. Oh, felicidades. Nochebuena para ti y tu familia. I will eat a lot of lechon. Yeah. I will. I can cheat now, like I can treat myself. That's the beauty of pacing yourself these days, I can chow down, bro. Chow down, because what I do is I don't eat anything until that moment. And that's it. So today I got up and I got a little bit of fruit, and that's it. And I won't eat again till late this afternoon. And that's it. I'm done. And I'll only eat once today. That'll be the only meal I'll have. It'll be a big ass meal, but that's it. So yeah, man. That's kind of because I fast, I can take advantage of these kind of days too now. So Big O, are you a fan of Puerto Rico rum coquito? No, not really. No. Nope. Will not be doing that. I'm not really like the biggest rum guy, so I'm not a huge liquor guy, like Zafra rum. I like Zafra rum. They do a nice job, but I can't drink it like a ton because that's just not, I'm not really that like, oh, I got to have, a shot. Zafra I'll do, and it'll be rare, because I'm just not really a hardcore liquor guy. And when I do, it's like, a vodka cranberry or something, Yeah, liquor's not really something that I'm a big drinker of. It's a very occasional for me, So yeah, no, definitely no coquito for me. Big O, there have been some teams that have won championships with a bad coach. For example, Larry Coker. Why can't we wish McDaniel can win? Well, Larry Coker wasn't a bad coach. I disagree with you there. Larry Coker was a bad custodian, a bad recruiter. He could not maintain the program. He could coach it. Dennis Erickson could coach, could not maintain. Notice what Coker and Erickson did. See, this is something that, Frankie, people are really quick to say, and they're wrong. They're wrong. Because if you give him the players, he'll have success. Coker should have won a second championship. It was the referees, dude, that took it away from him. I mean, that wasn't. Just look at it. What happened in that game against Ohio State. So you gave him the talent. He coached you up, and you could have won 2 titles. Dennis Erickson, he takes over for Jimmy Johnson. He wins 2 titles in the first 3 years. Do you know what those first 3 years are, Frankie? Jimmy Johnson's players. There's no NIL bullshit in those days. There's not massive turnover in your brain. No. Those kids are locked in. So if you win championships in the first 2 out of 3 years that you're there, you're basically playing with most of the players that you got from the other coach. So Dennis Erickson was a better X's and O's coach than Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy was the better custodian. He could recruit better than Erickson because in years 4 and 5 and 6 with Dennis Erickson, it got worse and worse and worse. Why? The talent wasn't the same. He wasn't able to maintain it, all that. Coker had the same problem. Coker can coach X's and O's, but if you in college, you've got to be a coach, a recruiter, and a custodian. I have always talked about this for over 20 years, talking about this because I've learned over time. College coaching is different than NFL coaching in that sense, because you have to maintain and you have to recruit. Those are factors that if you can't, even if you can coach, it'll bury you. Dennis Erickson went on to he had success at Washington State. He had success at Miami. He had success at Oregon State. He could coach. Now, did he have discipline? No. So Coker was a good coach, X's and O's. He wasn't a good head coach because he wasn't a custodian and recruiter at the level that you need here. Mario Cristobal, terrific recruiter, terrific custodian. How is he as a coach? Got to have all three. And Mario Cristobal has failed to prove that he has all three. He's missing one of the three elements. Dennis Erickson, Larry Coker were missing two of the three elements. It's tough. So disagree with you on that one. What else do we have here? Pro wrestlers Iron Mike DeBasi and Chris Hero birthdays today. Not that I could ever cover for Sean, but nice job for you, Brett. Thank you. That's very nice of you. So happy birthday to Mike DiBiase and Chris Hero. See, what Sean should have done is as he left, he should have sent me the list of the wrestlers. That slacker. What a slacker Sean is. Jesus Christ. His tummy felt bad. He pulled a Jimmy Butler on us today. I love that dude. Brian Radke, thanks for the info. Looking up the 31st show now. Did somebody say rum? Asking for a friend. I love Kings of Leon. Yes, I've seen them a couple times in concert, Oscar. Seen them twice in concert. They're actually pretty good in concert too, by the way. If you get a chance to go see Kings of Leon, you should go see them. Frankie says, Big O, not sure if you spoke about it, but your thoughts on the guy that burned the lady. You know what I would do to that son of a bitch? I'd light him up on fire. That's what I would do. So you don't want me as a judge, bro. I have zero sympathy for scumbags. Zero. Murderers, you know what I would do? I would put it on pay-per-view and juice them right on pay-per-view. So that way I make money for, less taxes that people have to pay because sick bastards want to watch it. Plus, people will see that we're not effing around. So you murder somebody, bro, you get your day in court. You get your one what's that called? Challenge, appeal, and then out of here. No, you're not sitting in a cell for 15 years taking up our tax money. No, bro, you're a murderer. Your life ain't worth anything. This guy's life ain't worth anything. He burned a woman to death. That video, by the way, the cop just walks by. Jesus Christ, dude. Come on. And some other guys like this. Like, you got to throw the damn blanket on her or something. Try to cover the fire. poor woman, and she's just standing there burning, and it's just like, oh my God, it's terrible. I would light his ass on fire, alive, and I'd put it on pay-per-view. You want to send a message to criminals? That's how you send a message to criminals. When criminals know that you're going to screw around with them and give them every break and let them out and all that, all these people, aggravated assault and rape and whatever, and then they're back out on the street again. A year later, 5 years later, they know. So they know they can continue to commit crimes because it's just a slap in the head. That's our problem, Frankie. That's our problem. We don't treat scumbags like scumbags. We think they should have rights. No, you lost your right, bro. You lost your right. You have rights like the rest of us. We're all human beings. We all treat each other right. We don't light each other on fire. We don't kill each other. We don't assault each other. We don't rape each other. That's it. Now, once you cross that line, bro, Sakao, it's over. It's done. There's no second chances. There's no third chances. That's the problem in our society. You want to end crime? Stop screwing around with criminals. That's all. And once they see that, oh God, they're not screwing around anymore. You know? That's how it goes, dude. That should be the punishment. Light his ass on fire. And put it on pay-per-view. Have a channel. The next guy gets juiced in another state, whatever. That's it. It's a channel, and you can pay to watch. And that's it. And so that way people will see what's going to happen to you, not just somewhere in some building somewhere where they gassed a person and there's 15 people there, some people, family members, and people that were affected by it or whatever. It's just a really close. No. Put it out in public. Let everybody see it. You got to send the message to people that this is not going to be tolerated. And that's our problem. We tolerate scumbags. That's all. Some guy assaults a child and he gets a slap in the hand and he's back out on the street 9 months later, 2 years later. And then what's he doing? Again, sexually assaulting the next child. And this time he gets away with it, or he ruins a child's life. We do nothing. That's our society. We're way too soft on criminals. They're criminals. They have chosen this. Treat them that way, dude. Why are we treating criminals like if they're decent? They don't deserve anything. I'm 58. It's been really easy not to murder for 58 years. It's really easy not to jack a car. It's really easy not to rob a bank. I don't know. It's really easy not to light somebody on fire. I don't know. It's been super easy to stay away from crimes. I don't find it hard at all. So if it's not hard for me and it's not hard for most of you, then why do we tolerate everything else? That's our problem. That's our problem. And once you start sending that message, go check out certain countries that are really extreme. Notice how they don't have a lot of that kind of crime going on. You know? It's interesting, right? You're just not going to screw around in certain places because you know they're not going to screw around. They're not going to tolerate anything, right? Certain countries, you steal something, they cut your hand off. I mean, there's not a lot of theft going on. Because I don't want to lose my hands if I get, it's not, that's, while it's kind of extreme, well, it sends the message. Again, how hard has it been for you not to commit murder throughout your entire life? Pretty easy, right? Pretty damn easy. Pretty damn easy. I find it extremely easy. You know? I don't know. I don't get it. That one I don't get. So, yeah, I'd light his ass on fire, dude. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Hateful Steve. So I take it you're not too happy with Joe Biden. No, commuting all those death sentences the other day. I'm not in for anything. And the idiot that's coming in is going to let all those other people out that were on January 6th. But of course, you're not going to be objective, Steve, because you have no objectivity in your body. You're only one side. You only complain about the left. You have no objectivity, my brother. See, that's the problem with you. I don't like the left and the right. I don't like either side. The guy that the other guy that you like, well, see who he wanted for his attorney general? A guy that's committing rape and paying 17-year-old girls. You talking about that, Steve? No, of course not. But I slam Biden all the time. You only slam Biden. That's the problem, Steve. So, that when you come at me with just one-sided bashing, it just doesn't carry a lot of weight with me, my brother, because I bash them all. So, yeah, I don't like Biden and I don't like Trump, but you won't say that. Anyway, this subway fire guy was an illegal immigrant, by the way. Shouldn't have been here in the first place. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. Be more objective, Steve. Call it both ways, okay? They're all scumbags. All of them, okay? Just like everybody picks on Trump for drilling and all that stuff, Biden gave out more permits for drilling than Trump did. They're all the same, dude. They're all the same. They're all lowlifes. And these are the last two presidents that printed $16 trillion combined. And we brought one of them back now. So, I'm objective. Neither one of them is good for us in the end. But hey, you guys voted in the guy that's going to pump my crypto bag. So that'll help out at least. That'll help out. But yeah, I'm completely against everything that Biden did in commuting. Unless it happens to be one weird case that like the person is innocent or something, I'm for that, Steve. But I am not for giving breaks to people that are you committed a crime, dude. You committed a crime. So yeah, none of these people are anything that I would want representing us, but this is what we voted in. So now America will have to live with everything that happens, just like you've had to live with everything that's happened the last 16, 20, 25 years with the last four presidents that have been terrible. But this is what we're going to do. It is what it is, my friend. Can't do anything about it. Live it, and it's crappy. If you abuse a child, automatic castration. Bro, if you abuse a child, I don't even have a problem with death penalty. Not just castration. I don't have a problem with death penalty. Okay? That's all. You know what I would do to P. Diddy? I'd throw his ass in Gen Pop. Go ahead, bro. Defend yourself. That's all. People like that. That's what you need to do. We have way too much sympathy for people like that. Way too much. Big O soft on crime just invites more criminal behavior. Exactly. Yep. Let's see. Big O, since you're a music aficionado, I'm curious. On your top five or top three, whichever you like, singer, drummer in music history. Mine, Henley, Phil Collins, and Peter Gabriel. Levon Helm and Ringo Starr. You don't have the best singing drummer on that list. You don't have the greatest singing drummer on that list. Doesn't have to be your favorite. Okay? But the top singing drummer is not on your list, Oscar. What's wrong with you, dude? The greatest singing drummer is not on your list. Do you know who the greatest singing drummer is? Who's the drummer with the greatest singing voice? I've pulled this one off a few times on folks out there. Now, Oscar, you've been listening long enough. Look at Rosendo, you son of a bitch. You've been listening long enough. You listen every day. You've been listening for a while. Rosendo knows the greatest singing drummer in the history of music. And by the way, she's also a hell of a drummer. Karen Carpenter. It's not even close. No, it's not even close. The voice of Karen Carpenter is a voice of angels. And she was a damn good drummer, actually. Okay? Phil Collins is a badass drummer, and Don Henley's a good drummer, and their voices. Don Henley's my favorite singing drummer. Okay? But I will admit, Karen Carpenter is the greatest singing drummer. It's a great trick question because, but it's the Carpenters. Like, nobody likes their music. I mean, I do, but what I mean is modern day people, they don't even know who the Carpenters are, or even acknowledge them or anything like that, But it's funny. Karen Carpenter doesn't get enough credit because she was a good drummer in her own right. You could go find YouTube videos of her doing like a little solo, and you're like, hey man, she can drum. You know what I'm saying? She had trouble, by the way, being a front person. Because she started mostly singing while she was drumming, and then they wanted her to come to the front of the band and sing and have somebody else drum, and then eventually they got her, to do that. But she wasn't, so comfortable being that face, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Karen Carpenter never gets mentioned in singing drummers because it's it's the Carpenters. It's the corny music of the Carpenters, that kind of stuff. Anyway. Let's see. What else do we have? Phil Collins. I'm an old pro. Yes, you are, Rosendo. Tito Puente is the greatest singing drummer. No, I don't. I think he's a percussionist, not a drummer. Correct? There's a difference between percussionist and drummer. I think Tito Puente is a percussionist, not a drummer. I'm just going off of that. But Tito Puente's voice is not Karen Carpenter, my brother. And I like Tito Puente. I have several of his CDs. He's fantastic. He's a hell of a talent. His voice don't come close to Karen Carpenter, bro. Okay? In fact, Don Henley's voice is better than Tito Puente's voice. Okay? I'll take Don Henley's voice over Tito Puente. But Karen Carpenter, Bubba, that's another level. When we talk about, I was just talking about Linda Ronstadt and Carly Simon. When we talk about, there are certain talents that are just like these voices that are, Freddie Mercury, like there are certain voices that are just at other levels. Karen Carpenter is just another level. Just another level. And Tito Puente he's not even close to that stratosphere. He's great in his own right, but his voice, not Karen Carpenter. No, sir. Sorry. It's just that her music will never get that recognition. You know what I'm saying? That's all. But her voice, oh my God. Rosendo says Karen was awesome drummer. She played with Dave Brubeck Trio. And you better bring it with Dave. Wonder if people know. Most people won't know who Dave Brubeck is, my brother. Most people won't. You got to be old to know who Dave Brubeck is. Young people have no idea who Dave Brubeck is at all. Didn't think of her because not really what I like to hear in exactly, Alexis. Nobody thinks of Karen Carpenter because of the music, and that's normal. But that's why I love having fun with that trivia question, because you can't argue with it. You could say you love all the other drummers over her and her voice. I'm not going to argue with you. You're 1,000% right. You know what I'm saying? You want to like Don Henley and Phil Collins and Tito Puente's voice or whatever better than Karen Carr? Fine. But her voice cannot be denied. Cannot be denied. You know? So, let's see. Who do we have? Ty in the Bronx. Rainy days and Mondays always bring me down. Thank you. Thank you, Ty in the Bronx. Feliz Navidad. Thank you, sir. True Fin Fan says, I'm going to listen to Karen Carpenter. Sounds like she's great. And I know you and Rosendo know your shit way more than me in music. Wow. You're going to go listen to the Carpenters. All right. Today's a kind of day where you can relax a little bit and listen to the Carpenters. Why not? Yeah. Yeah. Yesterday once more and start listening to a whole bunch of songs. Yeah, man. Her voice is, wow. Angelic. That's the verb. I'm sorry, that's the adjective to describe her voice. Angelic. That's what it is. Angelic. Because it's just, how do you sound like that? Like, how perfect. So, like, when she's singing live, it sounds like it's recorded, like a radio, like they dressed it up to the max. And yet that's her voice. Whew. Magical. Magical. D. Miles says, someone said that they never hear you give Steve Perry credit. Yes, great voice. Great voice. That's a good one. That's a good one. I don't know if maybe sometimes I don't mention him, and that's my fault, but he's got a phenomenal voice. Yeah. Yeah. I have no problem giving Steve Perry his due. Are you kidding me? Great, great voice. Dennis DeYoung, you know, that I kind of look at those kind of guys in the same area. A Dennis DeYoung, a Steve Perry. Yeah, phenomenal voices. Definitely. So I don't mention Dennis DeYoung much either, you know, and those two guys are impeccable. So, yeah. What else? Big O, we can include Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees on the singing drummer list. Yeah, good singer. There's no doubt about it. He had his own, his own style and all that. Do I put him in the Collins Henley class? No. I'll put him a notch under those guys. Karen's all by herself, but he's terrific. But I don't know if I put him at the Henley and Collins class. Let's see. Who is the best salsa singer of all time? You know what, Frankie? I'm not educated enough to give you I'm not educated enough to give you an educated opinion on it. Okay. If I was well versed on it, like I am in American music, then yeah, but I don't know enough salsa to give you that. So sorry. I'm not going to talk out of my ass where I got nothing to back it up. If I know something, or if I think I know something, then I'm going to tell you with no problem. But if I don't know it, I will also tell you with no problem. No, I can't answer that. That's not my wheelhouse. And salsa singers, not my wheelhouse. Timbales. Tito Puente is a pioneer, but just the congas and the timba. All right, he's a percussionist, is what we call that. That's what we call that. He's a percussionist. Not a. It's like Sheila E. She's a percussionist. She's not really a drummer, you know. Prince is. He's not one of the greatest guitarists. He's one of the greatest musicians, period. End of story. To say that Prince is one of the greatest guitarists is an insult to Prince, because Prince plays every instrument. He writes all the music for every instrument. People just don't do that shit. They just can't do that. Prince is one of the greatest musicians of all time. End of story. Period. Songwriter, musician, singer, composer, producer. This guy wrote songs for other people. This guy produced, created other bands. Prince is one of the greatest artists, period. I would argue in American music, he is easily one of the 5 greatest musicians of all time. In guitar, I don't know. We could argue he might not even make it in the top 5. He might be in your top 5. It's subjective. But what's not subjective? He's one of the top 5 musicians of all time. Period. End of story. When you play all instruments and you can write them all, when you do shit like that, your first album, you wrote it all? Every instrument, everything? Like, what? Bruce Springsteen does that. He can play all, even though he has the E Street Band, he can play every instrument. And he writes songs for other people, but I'm not putting him even at Prince's level. Okay? And Bruce is one of the greatest songwriters of all time. But Prince is special, dude. Like, special. Yeah. Ooh, he's a monster. It's just, I know I've seen, when my guitar gently weeps in the Hall of Fame. I've watched that video like 40 times with Prince, and he just wails, and then he throws the guitar up in the air, and his roadie is catching it. You don't even see it, and he just walks off stage with just the aura of Prince, and everybody on that stage knows we're good. This is Tom Petty. This is Jeff Lynne. This is Steve Winwood. I mean, there's some fucking names on that stage, and they're all like, yeah, no, that's the dude right there. Like, yeah, no, yeah, we're good. No, but that's the guy. Like, everybody knew Prince was the guy. If you've never seen that video, My Guitar Gently Weeps, from Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Prince, if you've never seen that performance, it's one of the greatest performances you will ever see. Just, it's Prince being Prince. There's only one. Just that dude, like, when the Lord made him, like, he's like, nah, they can't handle more than one of these kind of guys here. That's it. Boom. It's over. He's different, bro. He's different. Man, he's different. Oh, let's see. Celia Cruz is the most famous one. She's the queen, but never tell her she's a salsera. She hated that. She was a true sonera guanchera. Eddie Van Halen, Rip, top 5 guitarist. He's in my top 5. Eddie and obviously Hendrix. They're definitely in my top 3. So Tito Puente plays drums for Tommy Dorsey's big band and was also best known for being a timbale player and band leader. He was not a singer. I would not classify him as a drummer, but that's just me. I would not put him anywhere near some of the drummers that I have experienced in my life. Percussionist, yes, but yeah. I the whole Sheila, because she has a snare drum. I don't know, bro. She's more of a percussionist. Drummer is gotta have a drum set, bro. You know, if you don't have a drum set, you're not a drummer. You know. So it's just I would classify her a percussionist. I wouldn't classify her a drummer. What do we got here? Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Lisa, thank you for the love on Venmo. Appreciate you. Merry Christmas, Big O and Sean. Love our Big O Show. Finn's family. Here's to a great 2025 for all of us. Hateful Steve is back at it. Says one of the death sentences Biden commuted was a guy who made the daughter watch him do stuff to the mom. I know. It's disgusting. Name me one person equivalent to that on J6. It doesn't matter, bro. J6 is not acceptable. To you it is. To you it is, but it's not to me. Sorry. If there's anything you want to justify about J6, you go ahead, but I'm not justifying J6. And I'm not justifying Matt Gaetz either. You know what I'm saying? But again, you're not objective, dude. You only pick on one side. I pick on them all. I don't what's it called? Defer to anyone or favor anybody here. I don't. I see both of them as evil. I see both of them as negatives to us. That's all. So if you tell me what's a positive of your last two presidents printing 16 trillion, what's the positive? None whatsoever. So to me, they're all scumbags. Every single one of them. They're all scumbags. So the problem is that we have too much of cheerleaders nowadays. You guys play cheerleaders for these Democrats and these Republicans, and none of them are doing anything for you. They're only looking out for themselves. So I'd also put Billy Corgan in my top 5 guitarists, just personally. Definitely personally. He wouldn't even be in my top 40. Let's see. Carl Palmer from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Tommy Mayer loves him as a drummer. Stevie Wonder was a great musician. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Great musician. I don't know if he plays every instrument. I know he plays the keyboards. I know he plays the harmonica. I don't know if he plays drums and the bass and the guitar and all that kind of stuff. I'm not sure. I've never really seen him do that. So I don't know. Not sure about that. So in order for me to call you a musician like that, you gotta play a lot of instruments. I'm not sure about that. That's interesting. I've never looked that up to see if he plays all the other instruments. Maybe he does. I don't know. Interesting. I mean, he self-taught himself with the piano and the harmonica. That I've seen him play over and over again, but I've never really seen him play all the other instruments. Dougie Fresh says, what was your worst Xmas gift? My dad once gave me at 13 plastic binoculars. They were Sports Illustrated binoculars that he got free because he bought a year subscription. God, I don't remember a bad Christmas gift. No, nothing like that. No, I don't remember anything like that. Sorry about that, Doug. I mean, some Christmases are better than others, but I think I'm grateful for all of them. So no, there's not one that I sit back and say, wow, this Christmas sucked. I didn't get anything or whatever. I think I'm grateful pretty much every year. You know, especially now with my daughter and my wife, you know, And my doggies, Christmas is always good. So I can't complain. The worst Christmas gift I ever got was a box of pencils. LOL. Damn, I feel bad for some of you guys. I got a box of magnets, but they were kind of badass. I got all of you beat. My grandfather got me a lawnmower for Christmas, 1990, when I was 12. I was like, huh? Wow. The worst Christmas gift is not having my dad around. Yeah, that, you know, that one's been with me now for 30 years, unfortunately. Yeah, I lost my dad at 51, dude. I have outlived my dad already by 7 years. It's just stupid, bro. Just ridiculous. That's what makes Christmas suck, that I haven't had my dad around in decades. I would go with that one. That's it. That's it. That's what makes every day suck. And my dad isn't around. You know? So, yeah. Yep. 32 years it's been now. Yes, it is. What else do we have going on? By the way, there's a reason why the WNBA, you know, well, we've seen how they mishandle their business in the WNBA, and they got a star and they crap on a star and all that stuff, and then they complain about their salaries. Well, mama, don't let your babies grow up to be WNBA players or NWSL players. No. Mama, let your babies grow up to be professional Pickleball Association players, because that league is growing big time. In fact, the average pay is of more than 60 women on the Pickleball Tour. Okay, the Major League Pickleball Tour was $260,000. This is more than the highest paid WNBA player's annual salary and more than double the average salary of the National Women's Soccer League athletes. The league said pro pickleball players earn more than $30 million collectively. This is based on salaries alone. It does not include endorsement deals. Pro pickleball has come a long way. Since last December, some players formed a collective voice for their concerns about the future of Major League Pickleball after they were asked to take a 40% pay cut. In February, Major League Pickleball and Professional Pickleball Association completed their long-awaited merger, creating the United Pickleball Association. The deal also includes $75 million of outside investment. The PPA Tour and Major League Pickleball retain their own distinct brands. The PPA Tour features an individual bracket-style tour, while the MLP is team-based format. Since the creation of the United Pickleball Association, the off-court drama has died down, and the league has been working to refine its product and its business, led by stars like 17-year-old Anna Lee Water and top players like Federico Strarud and Ben Johns. So, crazy stuff. As a result, sponsorship grew by 50% year over year, more than 50 sponsors across both the PPA and MLB brands tour. Their UPA revenue should top $100 million in the next few years. That is absolutely nuts. So pro pickleball players are getting paid more money than WNBA and NWSL players. That's some crazy shit, dude. Pickleball has just exploded, man. Exploded. Like Bitcoin at 98,342. We're looking for 100,000 today, baby. 100,000. All right. Stevie's music is timeless for sure. Oh, yes. Definitely. Thank you, Think Blue Dodgers. I appreciate it. Sucks. And my best friend Bill's birthday is 3 days from now. It's 3 years. We lost him on December 9th. And I get a message on my phone a couple days ago because it's like when it's, close people, and I haven't erased it, and it's there, and it comes up like a week from now is Bill's birthday, in 6 days and 5 days. So I get a reminder every day now leading up to his birthday on the 27th. And yeah, man, losing the people you love, devastating, dude. Devastating. It changes everything, man. My dad was like my best friend, and then I lost my best friend, and it's just like the two males that I was the closest to in my life gone. Absolutely gone. I have no one in my life like those two dudes. It's sucks, dude. Absolutely sucks. But that happens to all of us, right? And every day I wonder, about my dad, and every day I wonder about my best friend. It's like not a day that goes by I don't think about him. Yeah, shit hurts, no doubt about that. Stevie Wonder performed with Formula 3 as a drummer. Nice. What was the song by Stevie Nicks and Tom Petty? Stop Dragging My Heart Around. Horn Dog. Oh, my best Christmas ever was getting my first Nintendo, 5th grader, and a 10-speed bike. Nice. I remember getting that Huffy. And I was like, yeah, baby. And then a couple years later, I get the Astrabula with the magnesium rims because we upgraded. I got more of a real dirt bike. The Huffy was like the one that started you. And then once you knew your shit, then you went and got, a Panda, a Red Line, an Ashtabula, stuff like that. I'm blowing some of you away like, wow, I haven't heard those names in forever. But yeah, stuff like that. What else do we have? Miss Bill, he was the best. Yes, he was, Josh. Yes, he was. Nobody liked Bill. Big O, I agree with you on Prince. He is number one all-time music artist because he did everything, including perform and dance. And wrote hits for so many other bands and other people. He's just Prince's, bro. Man. Yeah, I wish he didn't abuse the drugs. Because we still would have had him around performing. I still remember that concert in the Orange Bowl. Orange Bowl was packed that night, dude. It was the Purple Rain tour. Man. Foreigner singer Lou Gramm was a fantastic voice. Yes, Lou's voice is one of a kind. What a voice, dude. Who remembers Saga? Woo, tonight we're on the loose. Love it. Saga. Look at you bringing out that. It was the album had a pair of shades, like glasses that were like Ray-Bans, but they were reflective. What was the name of that album with Tonight We're on the Loose is the name of the song. But God, I want to see. I know the album. I see it in my mind. I'm trying to remember the name of the album. See if I can remember that. That would be pretty good. Oh God. Damn, I'm just looking at the album. I'm seeing the picture of the album, and I'm trying to picture the name of the album, and I cannot. By the way, we're at 98,471. We continue to climb. I have it too, Dolphin Don. I have that album. Worlds Apart. Worlds Apart. Oh, there you go. Dolphin Don. Worlds Apart. Worlds Apart. I got it. Worlds Apart. Anyway, 488. Let's see. If I can have the best gift for Christmas, it would be to see the Dolphins win a Super Bowl. That would be the greatest gift. Look, I already have my gifts. Okay. I got my daughter and I got my wife. I couldn't get any better gifts than that. That's the next one. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. The third one that I want is Dolphins winning the Super Bowl. Yeah, that would be it. Yeah, that would definitely be it. What else do we have? Fans, Super Bowl, hit that like button. Thank you, True Fin Fan. In faction, still have the ticket sub for that year. Okay. I don't know what that means. Tannenbaum on Get Up. Oh, yeah. Tannenbaum's been stealing money for a long time, dude. All right, folks, we're out of here. We thank you. We gave you 2 hours today, and we don't really take like commercial breaks and shit like that. We give you 2 hours, and we give you 2 hours of talk. Okay? We talk. We appreciate you all. Thank you. If you send in a super chat, Cash App, Venmo, let me make sure I didn't miss anything here before I go on the Cash App or Venmo side. Appreciate all of you out there. Let me see. Yep, Lisa was the last one. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And on PayPal, let me make sure nothing came in. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Joshua Velasquez on PayPal. Thank you, sir. Very nice of you. Cash App or Venmo or even PayPal. Thank you. It says Merry Christmas, Owen Sean. You are the best radio host. Don't change. Thank you, man. That is very nice of you. Well, I don't know if I ever deserve anything like that, but I appreciate you all out there as always. Okay. Jay Gelfin just sent me a video of Stevie Wonder on drums. That is awesome. With a drum solo, actually. There you go. I like it. I'm still going Prince, but, you know, Stevie's still an amazing artist, obviously. Let's see. What else do we have? Lamar Jackson is skipping halftime, maybe meeting with Beyonce. Well, he's going to catch the show. Do you blame him? I certainly don't. The Beyonce show, I'm sure, is going to be worth watching. Anyway, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, happy holiday. Happy holidays. I hope you guys all have great meals. You get great gifts. I hope you don't have any of those bad gifts that we've been shown there. You know, I hope you all get a great gift. Thank you all for your support. If I don't see you till next year because you're off vacationing or whatever, thank you for the support. Hit the like button. We shall see you on Thursday afternoon at 3:00 at Hialeah Park.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.